I'm joined now by Afshin Molavi. He's a senior fellow at the Foreign Policy Institute at the Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies. So, Tillerson, on a big tour here, what is he really trying to accomplish as he visits all these countries, and what is he hoping to convey from the Trump administration?
When I think of these Middle East trips, I think of the Mike Tyson rule of politics. Everybody has a plan, that is, until you get punched in the face, right? So Rex Tillerson made these plans for this travel, several, months ago, several weeks ago at least. But over the weekend, the Israel-Iran theater has blown up a little bit. Russia has gotten involved in that. We saw that what happened was Israel struck at several sites within Syria that Israel says were occupied by Iranian military forces. So that's certainly going to be on the agenda, and it probably wasn't on the agenda a week ago. So what he's trying to do in many ways is to continue to convey the message that the Trump administration is very much behind the fight against ISIS and the fight against terrorism. He wants to very much recalibrate and retool and reinforce the revitalization of alliances with traditional powers like Egypt and Kuwait in this case, and Saudi Arabia as well. And I think those are going to be the two key messages, but he's going to be dogged by this Iran, Israel, Hezbollah, Syria brewing conflict.
And that being said, much has been made about the fact that the U.S. State Department isn't fully staffed to this day. Are they prepared? Is Tillerson prepared to handle these major issues that come up?
It's a good question. And one of the other issues is that, President Trump had signaled his displeasure with Rex Tillerson over the past few months, and that has toned down a little bit as well. But one does wonder when foreign leaders are receiving him, if they are receiving the word of the President of the United States, because after all, there are direct conversations between the president's emissaries, including his son-in-law, Jared Kushner.
And Pence was just in Israel last month.
And by the way, this being Washington, as a result of the Israel-Iran confrontation over the weekend, there are some that are arguing that he should add Israel to his itinerary on this trip.
Because it's not on the list. He's not expected to go. Let's turn to Turkey for a moment. U.S.-Turkey ties have been strained ever since that Turkish offensive into northern Syria. What will or could get accomplished there? I mean, this will be one to watch.
Yes, it will. And, in many ways, this is one of those diplomacy is a game of inches. And we need to continue to engage with Turkey because at the end of the day, Turkey is striking at forces that are allied with the United States. And some of these Kurdish forces that they are striking at have been vital to the fight against ISIS. So then it becomes a question of, where do you stand? Do you stand with an ally that you've been fighting with and to counter the ISIS threat? Or do you stand with the state of Turkey that, frankly, over the past year has jailed 40 or 50,000 dissidents and doesn't look as stable as it used to be?
So that all being said, with Turkey, what happened with Israel, would you say that the United States is still considered part of the larger conversation of what is happening in the region?
I think the United States will always be part of the conversation, but I do think that the United States is not engaged as robustly as it should be on diplomacy in the Syria conflict, because the Syria conflict is the one that can really metastasize and create problems all across the region. And in many ways, the states that are plotting the future fate of Syria are Turkey and Russia and Iran rather than the United States, and that absence is glaring.
We'll have to see. This is a long trip. 4 more countries ahead. Afshin Molavi, thank you as always. We appreciate it.